YouTube, we got an exciting one. As always, a good mix. Some Langes, some APs, obviously some Rolexes, and an interesting Piaget. So stay tuned. And Marco reaches for the he's low-hanging fruit right away. The Rolex.
This is the Rolex Daytona on Oysterflex, aka the Pikachu. I call it the Pikachu.
I like that. I like that. The Pikachu. It definitely is the Pikachu. Was that the one that the artist wore that started all the craze? So that was the very one that he wore that started the entire Oysterflex craze, right?
Yeah.
And then
specifically for yellow gold and this model in particular.
What I love is the fact that it was the one. I mean, how many different variations out there for
yellow gold? I mean, they have
no, just in general, all Oysterflexes.
There's so many, like yellow gold black dial, yellow gold black diamond.
So would you say there's at least 15 different variations of this?
Maybe not. Maybe 10. 10
okay, but this watch literally started the craze on every single one of them.
Yeah, pretty much. Another nice watch.
You have a nice watch.
All-time classic, IWC Mark 18. I like it too on the bracelet. It kind of gives that throwback 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗧 look. Obviously, you have the kind of pilot style dial already. So yeah, I mean, this is just a classic IWC.
I made a small boo-boo a few years back.
Oh, no.
I got in the original Mark 12. It had, what is it, the luminescent markers that were still loomed the old-fashioned way. It was on a strap. It was a full set. I bought it for like no money. For like, I think I paid like $3,000 or $4,000 for it. I wish I would have kept that one. But I do love the throwback to the original Mark. I do like the throwback to the 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗧, as you call the bracelet. What does 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗧 mean anything?
Yeah, it's like, no, but I mean, this is more like a 5-link style bracelet, but 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗧 is like flight. It's like the
flight.
German
So it's a German word for flight.
It's just the name of the, what's it called, the genre of watch.
Out of these in older, I think the split-second 𝗙𝗲𝗄𝗧 chronograph is the best value in the market right now.
Yeah, the Doppel chronograph.
The Doppel chrono, if you find that one at a price, they're way under $10,000 right now. I think it certainly is.
Now question, do you like these style hands or the cropped hands of the past?
I like these style hands.
Me too.
Obviously, there's not a whole lot we can say about the OP green Rolex, but we can talk about the Eagles being one of only 3 teams out there that's 3-0. Good game, if anybody watched.
You didn't even show the watch.
I did show it. I mean, it's a green OP. How much can we talk about the green OP?
Market price for it, about 10,000.
Let's talk about this empty travel box. Yeah. Let's not. Let's go here for a second. Let's switch boxes. And I'm gonna go to a watch. This actually came in yesterday. It's already been written up, but I felt like I needed to bring this back because I know you'd want to talk about this. Vacheron.
We got this in yesterday. I think it's one of the nicest watches you can get, probably under 40,000. It's a traditional, the triple calendar, I mean, with the moon face, open worked also. I love this watch. This is such, it's actually, I thought it was going to be too big because it's 42 millimeters.
It actually doesn't wear so bad at a
it really doesn't, because
Look at that.
The lugs actually downturn very, very well. So lug to lug, I mean, you could probably wear this even on a like 6-inch wrist, I would say. So it's a really, really nice wearing watch, and the open work is just awesome.
You know what I'll say about that watch? I think it's an eye catcher.
Oh,
I think it's a very eye-grabbing watch because the way the skeleton is executed, it grabs your eye to. Put it this way, it looks a lot more complicated than what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I was showing it to a customer of mine, and we have a 5205G black dial, and they trade for about the same price. And I'm like, listen, side by side, it's like, it's no competition, you know what I mean?
It's definitely a looker. Speaking of which.
Yeah, 5205.
how about a 5205R?
If you compare, the two, listen, I'm gonna be biased. I like Vacheron more, but I also think it's just a better looking watch.
But hold on a second. In a rose black dial, this watch is quite the looker. I don't think it's a fair comparison. In a white gold with a blue dial, it's also a hell of a looker, but that would be a more fair comparison. In a rose gold, it's not really a fair comparison because
this is also the new green dial. So this is the rarest or the most desired of all the 5205.
Now my next question was going to be is, this strap is actually green. This dial is actually green. I wish it tiny bit louder on the green.
Yeah, it's too smoky of a green. Like, it's very dark green. It's like a murky, like swamp green, I want to call it.
Murky swamp green. You heard it here first.
Yeah, so it's like, but a lot of brands are doing this, right? Like even the 5905 in steel is a bit too dark. Like I don't.
Actually, the 5905 in steel, I feel is a tad lighter.
If it was a tad lighter, like the mint green 𝗙𝗍𝗄𝗧, that would be a knock.
You know what I love? Here we are, we're giving advice to Patek Philippe, right?
Yeah.
Like we're telling them what to do.
Like
they need our advice, right?
How about this? We got an all black ceramic Offshore, all-time classic, great seller for us too. These come in, they pretty much get out the next day or the same day pretty much. But this one specifically, I like that little pop of that blue seconds hand. I don't know what it is.
It's like a purplish blue. it's small enough where it can be super bright. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it's because the contrast. It's so high contrast versus, you know, an all black look.
Somebody sent us a toilet paper roll, apparently. Here comes the cavalry. That is a miniature cavalry sword, by the way. Anybody's wondering. That's why I said that.
Oh,
Ooh.
this is really nice.
Oh, this is the watch we bought from G-Lux. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the reason Adrian bought this is fairly obvious. Look at this dial. 31 millimeter ladies Rolexes, 28 millimeter ladies Rolexes. It's like, they're not the hottest sellers.
But they're still very
still very sellable. We always get requests for them. But when you try to go out and find them, it's not very easy because most secondary dealers will go for that low hanging fruit. Your subs, your 41 millimeter Datejust, your 36 millimeters. Nobody like stocks these 28, 31 millimeters.
I mean, they also just don't trade. Ladies don't tend to sell their watches.
That's another problem. Ladies do not tend to sell their watches on a secondary. And that's why you don't see a lot of them coming back to the second. So, look at the packaging. I love it. You know what? I love these. Oh, there's two watches in it. You get a 2-for-1. When you're talking about entry level Langes, this is what you're looking at. And most people would be like, oh, but this looks small and dinky and this, that, and the other. This is the equivalent of Patek Philippe, but better made. My take.
No, I completely agree. I think the finishing is much better than Patek Philippe. I think the distinction between Lange and Patek Philippe is Patek Philippe will finish their higher level complications to a different standard they will their entry level model. I mean, I get it, but it's not fair, I guess, for the consumer.
It's not justified in price.
Yeah, not at all. Because it's not justified for the consumer who's still paying a big markup for the name, right? Versus Lange, who essentially finishes all of their watches to the highest standard across the board.
From the entry level up to their highest complications.
And you see it. I mean, the quality, the feel, the look, it's all there, right? I mean, you pick up a watch like this and you wind it, like, I don't know if you can hear that, how crunchy that is. Like, it's so crunchy.
Crunchy. Is
like,
that like
just a beautiful feel.
Is that like actual terminology?
You look at this
crunchy?
This movement, it's like so, like it's immaculate. You know what I mean? Especially for a watch under, I think these trade around the 15 to 20,000 range. Like.
So we talked about a special Piaget, and what's Piaget known for? It's known for their thinnest watches, right? So the first record was Vacheron.
Yes.
Then Piaget beat it.
Well, there was a bunch, like AP also had a thinnest watch. You know, everybody has tried
But Vacheron, I think Vacheron and Piaget were the OGs of this,
yeah, they were
right?
really the ones pushing, like,
and then bulgari did it, and then
Richard
Mille said, hold my beer, and they made the plate.
Yeah.
But first look at the thinness of this.
Yeah, it's like the size of
now,
thinner than a coin.
In order to accomplish a thin watch, what do you basically end up doing? You basically trying to place all the watch parts in a vertical plane.
Yeah.
Where in cases where certain wheels would be under each other on different plates or different levels, now you have the job of basically spreading that thin, literally, is what you're doing. You're spreading the movement thin. The end result is a beautiful, beautiful watch. Look at the dial of that watch.
No, it is very good looking. I like the fact that you can see all the kind of inner mechanics of it. And I mean, it tells the story of how a watch tells time. Literally, like you wind the crown through here, it goes through the different gear train, which powers the escapement. And it engages
that's why I love this kid.
The balance cock, and then starts the balance wheel, right?
Yeah, oh, you know, the ladies love me because of my balance cock, right?
And
let's finish off with my favorite brand. Okay, so this is the concept from Audemars Piguet. Now, my favorite complicated AP is the 𝗙𝗿𝗏 concept. Then they did the carbon, and then they did this one, the concept GMT. This was the third concept they made. Alongside with it, they made it in white, they made it in rose, they made it in two tones, white ceramic and rose.
And they evolved it, now they have the new blue one.
Exactly, it just kept going and going. Like, this is a line that came out around the time where, again, bigger and better was just starting to come around. The original concept was in 2001 when bigger and better didn't really start yet, but it started to sort of take, people started to take note of bigger watches. And this came out in the heat of bigger is better, and it was probably the carbon concept alongside with this guy, probably one of the best sellers from AP in a high complicated line because people wanted a big watch. Even though I tend to want to wear watches that are a bit big for me, that is just way too big for me because of the lug system.
It's the biggest problem.
When you go from here to here, it's just too much real estate. If I throw this on my wrist, it just does not sit.
just the one knock against the concept line, right? It's hyper innovation, but
well,
just
not anymore. They scaled it down to 43 million, which I'm happy about. I'm waiting for them to come out with regular versions of the Marvel series, something, you know, because I know they reserved the 43 millimeter for the Marvel series. And
that's 42.
I'm hoping, that's 42. Yeah. I'm hoping to see the Hulk next, because to me that would be just, oh baby. It'd just be great, right? Yeah. And
I think Iron Man is still the one to do. Think about it, you do like a red ceramic bezel, and then you do like a Iron Man in the middle with like the, what's it called, like with his hand going out, and that's the tourbillon, like that leads to the tourbillon, you know what I mean? And then it's like a blue,
add some neon lights, Bluetooth, neon lights, Bluetooth, and then holographic imaging onto the ceiling when you turn it on at night and it shows you the time.
I think that would be
and sound effects.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, definitely do that. The entire concept line right now, regular concept line, has been hanging around under $200,000 for the most part.
This is
for pretty much the 𝗙𝗏𝗏𝗏, the Carbon, this guy. This is actually trading probably the lowest
under
between
150.
Yeah. So again, if you have the wrist, and this, I think this to me sings value. I would love, you know what? Marvel, put Marvel aside, I would love to get a 42 millimeter concept in rose gold. Just like they did the rose gold of these.
That's not a bad idea.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys watching me day in and day out, bore you with a bunch of crazy watches, and I will see you on the next one.